Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and I'm back again with another video. Today I'm going to be setting up my bullet journal for August 2019. But before we jump into the planning, I want to quickly thank today's sponsor, Clue. Clue is a free health app for people with periods, and it's available for iPhone, iPad, and Android phones and tablets. I love Clue and have been using it for over 2 years, and it features a period tracker, fertility window, and a birth control reminder, and pairs perfectly with whatever form of birth control you choose. It's important to note that the Clue app itself is not a contraceptive, so if you want to avoid pregnancy, you need to use birth control. My favorite thing about Clue is how I can use it to learn more about how my cycle works and how it impacts my body and mind. You can track so many things, and I know y'all like to track. I personally track changes in my skin, hair, mood, and energy throughout my cycle, and it's really interesting how over time, the more I track, the more I learn the unique hormonal patterns of my cycle and body, like the fact that I will always break out a few days before my period starts. Clue is really good at learning my personal cycle length and predicting the start of my next period, which means I am always prepared. You can also use Clue to provide detailed information about your cycle to your doctor, which can be instrumental in finding solutions to any problems you may be facing with your reproductive health. I also love that Clue is dedicated to improving awareness and understanding of reproductive and menstrual health for all people who have periods. Check out the app or helloclue.com for a wealth of information backed by scientific studies to answer all of your questions about your cycle. Download Clue for free by clicking the link in the description or search Period Tracker in your app store and download Clue. I know you'll love it as much as I do. Thank you again to Clue for sponsoring this video, and now let's get into the planning. So I'm going to start by doing 2 watercolor paintings. So I'm grabbing this watercolor paper and just taping it down to my desk. I'm also trying out some new watercolor brushes from Wonderforest today. As always, all of the supplies I'm using will be linked in the description box, so check that out for detailed information about every single thing I'm using. So I'm starting by mixing some different shades of sort of a tealy blue and starting to apply it to the paper. I just want to start by getting the general shape of this wave and starting to add some variety of color and some depth to it by having darker areas where the water is deeper and lighter areas where the water is thinner in sort of the crest of the wave. I also want some areas that are more true blue, some areas that are more green or teal, some dark, almost black blue, sort of navy areas, just lots of variety so that it looks more realistic when we're done. For the darker areas, I just squeezed some black and blue paint onto my palette from the tube so that it would be more concentrated. And again, at this stage, I'm just being really messy and loose with it, just getting the general shape, getting the darker areas and the lighter areas. So much of this is going to be covered in the final result that it's not too important that you be neat. At this part, I wanted to add more ocean behind, and then I decided I didn't like that, so I just added more water and kind of blended it into the light blue of the sky. So now I'm going to use my white gouache to add the foam to the wave. So all along the edges of the crest of the wave is going to have foam, and then there's going to be foam all through the bottom part of the wave as well. For this part, I was alternating between stippling the color on in different sized sort of messy dots, and also drawing it on in lines that are sort of wobbly and different widths and shapes to get this feeling of the foam and to try to give the wave more of a feeling of movement. Again, with this, the messier the better. It looks more realistic if it's not very uniform, and you can use different sized brushes to get different effects depending on how you want your wave to look. I also wanted to darken up the sky a little bit to have more contrast between the blue of the sky and the white of the crest of the wave. And I also used an angle brush so that I could flick and tap lots of dots of gouache all over the painting to look like spray. And for this part, you just keep adding that white gouache until you're happy with the general effect. I let that dry, and then I went back in with some more concentrated dark colors to add a little bit of contrast around the edges of the foam. I also lifted the side of the wave a little bit more because I felt the proportions didn't look quite right. And at this part, I'm just going back and forth between adding more white foam where I feel I need it, more spray, and adding more low lights in the areas that I feel need a little more depth or a little more shadow. I also wanted to add a little more blue to the crest of the wave so that it was clear that there was water still in that part of the wave, and when it dries you'll see it gets a lot lighter, so it's just a little bit more dimension. For most of this detail work, I'm using the smallest brush from this brush collection, and once I'm happy with it, I'm just pulling off the tape and putting it aside to dry. Now I'm moving on to the second painting, which is going to be used for my quote page, and I'm starting by wetting the paper in the area where I want the moon to be. And you'll see here I'm drawing about half of a crescent moon, just using Payne's Gray from my palette and applying it messily, having darker areas and lighter areas to represent craters and texture of the moon. I'm also wetting certain areas and picking up the pigment with some paper towel just to get some lighter areas where I felt I'd over applied color. Adding some shadows to the edges of the moon in certain areas, and especially in the lower left-hand corner. Now I'm wetting the page in the area where the wave is going to be and going in with a variety of blues again, so some teals, more greeny blues, some more true blues, and again some lighter and darker areas. Again, keeping this pretty messy because it is going to be covered in some foam. I am doing this in a slightly different way than I did the wave on the front cover, so you can get some different ideas for how you can render waves with watercolor. For the foam at the top of the wave, I just mixed some gray and blue with quite a bit of water to get a very, very light blue-gray. And I'm adding some darkness to the bottom left-hand side of the wave there where it connects to the moon. And again, some more shadowy, darker areas of the wave throughout, again for some more feeling of depth. Once that has completely dried, I'm going in with my gouache, and I wanted to add some highlights to the moon. I didn't like this first highlight that I drew, so I tried to fix it, and then I ended up just covering it up with gray because I didn't like it. So that happens, and that's totally fine. Because of that, I wanted to make sure that had some time to dry, so I just added some more darker areas to the moon and then left that to dry and started on the highlights for the wave. Here I added them more in kind of swipey motions, and I ended up blending those in for more subtle highlights. I'm also adding gouache all along the top to the foam for more texture and highlights, and adding some dots around the edges of the wave for a look of spray. Now I'm sort of blending out some of those early highlights so that they kind of blend more into the wave. And again, adding more gouache in stippling motions for a look of spray. And grabbing some gouache on my angled brush and wetting it and then tapping it over top of the painting to get some splattered dots all over for highlights for both the wave and for the moon. And now I'm redoing these larger highlights, one extra big one and one smaller one in the corner. And again, I'm all done, so I'm going to put that aside to dry. Now I have scanned the first painting into my computer and sent it to my iPad, and now I have it in Procreate, and I'm just adding lettering for August along the top. So I try writing it a couple times until I'm happy, and then once I pick my favorite, I just realigned it a little bit, adjusted it so that it would be perfectly straight across and in the right spot. And then once I was happy with that, I decided to add a little bit of shadow behind the lettering so it would be a little easier to see on the light blue background. And you can see I did it at first and thought it was too much, and did it again with a little bit of a thinner brush and only on the right lower side of the letters. Once I'm happy with this, I sent it back to my computer, put it in Photoshop, and made a couple final adjustments to the color correction to make it as close to the original as possible, and then I printed it out on sticker paper. So now I'm going to be sticking it into my bullet journal, and I'm just measuring the page to make sure that I'm cutting it perfectly. I made sure to print it just a little bit bigger than my paper so I'd be able to cut it down so it would fit perfectly, and I'm leaving a little extra on the outside again so that once I put it down I can cut off the excess and make sure it fits perfectly instead of cutting it a touch too small and then having some blank areas. So I'm starting in the corner and lining it up and carefully applying it to the page, making sure to rub out any bubbles or lines, and just keep moving like that all the way across the sticker till it is completely down. You want to be careful with this, especially with this sticker paper in particular. You can't really remove it and reapply it, so you want to do it right the first time. And I'm just cutting off the excess all the way around the page. Now I'm going to do the same with the next painting. So as you can see, I popped this into my computer and just added text all the way around and printed it on sticker paper again. And the quote for this month is, "Don't worry if you're making waves just by being yourself. The moon does it all the time." I really like this quote, so I'm happy that I've kind of immortalized it in this little painting in my bullet journal. So now I'm going to move on to the monthly spread, and I'm going to be painting directly into my Scribbles That Matter notebook. This was the first time I'd done watercolors directly in this notebook, and I feel like it handled the paint really well. So starting with a bunch of waves in a variety of blues again, and then using my gouache to add the foam along the top edges of the waves just to distinguish them from each other. And adding some gouache also inside the waves for some more highlights. And then again, once that's dried, I'm going in with some more concentrated watercolor to add depth to the waves as well. I wanted these ones to be a little bit darker because the painting with the wave and the moon is a little bit darker. I wanted to kind of balance it out that way. Now I'm adding the calendar along the top. The spacing for this calendar is 4 by 4 for each day. And then adding the header as well. I wanted to incorporate a little bit of black just to fit it in to the painting on the opposite side. And I wanted to incorporate a little bit of my typewriter style stamps to fit in with the lettering I chose for the quote page. Now I'm going to add a bunch of details to these waves along the bottom using my white gel pen, just lots of wavy lines and completely irregular, just to add a feeling of movement to these waves, and then a couple dots throughout, very minimal, but just enough to give a little bit of a feeling of spray. So this is a more sort of abstract way to render waves, but I really like how it turned out. And then I also used the white gel pen just to lighten up the marker I'd used a little bit, because once I put it in, I wasn't a big fan of how dark and bright that Crayola Super Tip was. So using the white gel pen over top helped to just kind of fade it a little bit, and I liked the effect a lot more. So now I'm moving on to the next spread, which is my line a day and my trackers. So again, just doing waves along the bottom. On this one, I wanted them to be a little bit lighter, a little more pastel. And for trackers this month, I'm going to be tracking my moods, my coffee intake, stretching, visualization, and my sleep. If you're interested in how these kinds of trackers work, check out my Instagram because I've used this type before and I have some posts with them partially or fully completed. And I'll also be posting this spread once I've been using it for a little bit so that you can get a better idea. So follow me there if you want to see that. And I'm doing the same detail work on the waves along the bottom of this spread as well. So lots of wavy lines going in different directions. I'm trying to generally follow the shape of the wave. So if there's a crest, I want them to kind of go up the crest. I want them to follow the general shape and bumps of the wave. So it looks like this is just sections of foam and spray that are kind of following the movement of the wave. And again, I added the white gel pen to the header just to lighten up that blue a little bit. So the headers are made with a dark blue Crayola Super Tip, a light blue Tombow brush pen, and a white gel pen to get that kind of wavy, irregular look. Now I'm moving on to the first weekly spread, which will be the last spread I'm setting up in this video. I'm doing a rolling weekly with a faux Dutch door, as I have been doing for the past few months. I will link the video where I explain how the rolling weekly works if you are interested in this weekly layout, but I'm just setting it up basically the exact same as I have in the past couple months as far as the general structure of the weekly. And then for the design, it's very similar to the last spread, so adding waves along the bottom and the header along the top. And then once the waves have been painted and had time to dry, I'm going to use my white gel pen to add those lines and dots for that more abstract detail. This is a really fun way to draw waves and could easily be done with other mediums than watercolors, just so long as you can use a white gel pen over top of them. You could use pretty much anything to get that base blue color. You also don't have to use the white gouache for the main sections of foam. I just found it was faster than using the gel pen. Thank you, as always, for tagging me in your recreations of my spreads and in just your general Bujo spreads that you share on Instagram. I love seeing them, and these are some of my favorites from the past month. If you want to see your spreads shared in my next Plan With Me video, be sure to follow me on Instagram and tag me in all your spreads. And that is it for the entire setup. So this is the final flip through of what my wave setup looks like for August. I wasn't sure about this one about halfway through. I wasn't really liking it, and I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing. I almost decided to start over. And then I had the idea to add the lines and the dots and things and add a little more white gel pen to the spreads to kind of lighten it up a bit. And I felt much better about it. So just a little reminder, it's totally normal and fine to finish a spread and not be a big fan of it, but I highly recommend taking a break, doing something else for a bit, giving yourself a rest from the spread, and then come back and look at it more objectively and try to think if there's a way that you could salvage it so that you don't just rip it out or glue it to the next page and start again. I think it can always be a great lesson to figure out how to save the things that you don't like about your spreads, and you can take that on to the next spread you make with more knowledge of what you like and what you don't, techniques that work for you, techniques that don't, or just things that you need more work on. I want to take a quick moment to thank my patrons for their support. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you more than you can ever know. Extra special thanks to our newest patron, Angelique. If you want to become a patron, if you want to join the Plant-Based Bride Patron Squad, definitely feel free. We would love to have you. Check out the link in the description or the link in the card to come join us. One of the many perks for patrons is that they get printables for my setups. So my $1 patron tier will be getting the cover page from the setup with and without the lettering, and my $3 tier patrons will be getting all of the printables I make, so the cover page, the quote page, and a couple other mysterious secret bonus ones. So definitely come join us if you're interested in that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye, friends. Don't forget to check out Wednesday's video. It was a coffee talk on a little bit of a controversial subject, the casting of Halle Bailey as Ariel, and also check out last Saturday's video. They will both be linked on the screen right here.